Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to address a very important topic in Poke investing and one that I think is going to be pretty relevant soon. Now, why do I say this? Well, it's because I'm seeing some signs that a market downturn could come soon. Now, why do I especially think that it's going to come soon? Well, we're seeing some price decreases right now. I think there's going to be a bit of a temporary dip, but I do think as we go into 2026, Pokemon, as we know, has a bit of delay from when they know how much demand there is and how much they're printing. And I believe they're going to overprint some of the upcoming sets. And some of the upcoming sets, I believe, are not going to be as popular as we think. They've done an amazing job with the Mega era so far in releasing things like Mega Charizard X, the Lucario and Gardevoir set, or the Mega Brave, Mega Symphonia kind of base set that we had. But I don't think this is going to last. I think there's going to be amazing sets in this era, don't get me wrong. But the problem is, once we've introduced illustration rares and special illustration rares and gold cards, people have seen these things before and they'll get used to them. So when there comes a set where a lot of Pokemon are not very interesting or fun to chase, that set is not going to do as well. And Pokemon is going to keep printing it. And we're still going to see people buying, but just not at the same rate that we've been seeing in Scarlet and Violet. And so we could see a downturn back down to MSRP. That would be the best case scenario, but we could see another bear market where we were like in a Sword and Shield. But I do think the kind of base floor of demand has been elevated. I think a lot of people entered the hobby. A lot of people are going to exit the hobby, but some percentage of those people are going to stick around, right? That always happens when you get a large group of people into a new hobby. It's going to almost increase the floor of the bear market, but Pokemon is a company. They're here to maximize profit, and so they are going to take advantage of that kind of demand. So if you think of supply and demand as these two kind of axes, right? We'll say supply and demand here. Right now, demand is at an all-time high, but supply is pretty low. So as demand gets high, supply diminishes, and as supply gets high, demand diminishes theoretically, right? Or low demand can lead to excess supply. Pokemon does not want this to happen in any scenario. They want the line to be as straight as possible, or if anything, actually they want the line to be like this, right? Where if they have low demand, they have low supply, but if they have high demand, they have high supply, so they can meet that demand and capitalize off of that. So they're going to increase this, and when demand is not there to meet it, the supply is going to still exist. And so it's going to inversely lead to low demand because, despite what some people are saying, there are definitely people here in the hobby that are just here for the money aspect. And once that's gone, a lot of the demand is going to leave. However, as with all markets, you have to buy the dip, guys. It's going to dip, but it's going to go back up. And you're going to wish that you didn't sell or you didn't buy at this dip. Now, we don't know how long this dip is going to last for. Even within this dip, if you buy the right products, you're not going to notice much anyway. And we're going to talk about that now. So what do I mean? Well, let's talk about a pretty interesting set called Steam Siege. Now, this was widely regarded to be the worst set of the X and Y era. It sucks. I remember hating it when it came out, never opened much of it. The Gardevoir was cool, but that's literally the only thing you're chasing in this entire set. The break cards aren't very popular. Even if you like to break cards, the Pokemon here aren't very popular. Maybe Xerneas and Yveltal are the most interesting things here. But yeah, it really is just this Gardevoir secret. Now, this obviously has a low pop in a PSA 10 because it's an older card. So it is a bit of a chase. It's been selling for around $1,000. It has been increasing in price lately. Again, $1,000 chase for a set this old is nothing crazy compared to other sets in the XY era. However, that doesn't matter because Steam Siege ETBs just hit a high price of 2.8K. That is insane. This is the worst set in all of the XY era and an ETB of it with Volcanion on it. Who even likes Volcanion, okay? This is such a terrible Pokemon design. Nobody likes this guy. Yet the ETB sold for 2.8K. Why? Well, because it's rare. It's in the title. It is hard to find this ETB. That's also why I'm a proponent of PC ETBs. Yes, PC ETBs look pretty similar to their ETB counterpart, especially in Scarlet and Violet, but it doesn't matter. Rarity matters. Again, guys, the supply and demand curve is what you really need to pay attention to. But yeah, the ETB sold for 2.8K. The booster box sold for $1,000, so still amazing gains. Over 10 years, if you bought a booster box for, let's say, like $100, it has 10x over 10 years, which is pretty decent returns. And you might be saying, well, it's not the best. You could have done a lot better buying like Amazon or Microsoft stock. Yeah, you're completely right. But this is Steam Siege. This is the worst set in all of X and Y. And I truly believe that the current Scarlet and Violet era, even the Sword and Shield era, does not have a set as bad as Steam Siege. I just don't see it. Maybe if you go, behind any of the alt art sets, yeah, like Rebel Clash, for example, but I'm not going to tell you to buy Rebel Clash. What I am going to tell you to buy, and to kind of like proof yourself from an imminent crash, because the biggest risk when buying Pokemon is that you sell too early. If you don't have the funds and you need to sell. And so you'll sell something like, let's say you buy this Phantasmal Flames for $300 right now, but you end up in a ton of debt and then you need to sell it for money and it drops down to $150 because Pokemon reprinted the crap out of it. That's the only way you really lose money in this stuff. The only way you don't lose money is just by holding, right? I think great buys right now would be a Surging Sparks booster box. It's actually at a pretty good price. Obviously, Prismatic PCETBs and ETBs are going to do good. But if you really want to future-proof yourself, booster boxes like Fusion Strike are going to be an amazing buy. 151 is not a bad buy either. I think a lot of the Sword and Shield products right now are still in a really good area. Evolving Skies, I would still consider buying. Paldea Evolved has just dropped, a good like $40, $50 from its all-time high. I think it's a great time to buy it right now. 151 ETBs have been stagnant for a while. They are releasing some of them into the wild every now and then, but it's not really affecting the price too much. And so I think if you want to get one of these, you should pick them up if you can. Brilliant Stars, I've been talking about this so much. It actually has come down from its high of 540. I think now is a great time to buy if you wanted to pick this up. You're getting it at a $50 discount. 151 UPC as well. Really, guys, it's just Pokemon always goes up. It's a tale as old as time. And if you are worrying about an imminent market crash, I understand. It makes 100% sense to be a little careful about investing into something like this. But unfortunately, the data is just kind of there for us to see. And because of that, there is going to be a level of confidence that will never truly shake anyone out of the market. And so I think it'll, and so I think it will kind of, it will just prevent any sort of further crash from going below a certain line. What I mean by that is that there is a floor of demand, like right here. There is enough people that believe in the existence of Pokemon as both an investment and just a collectible in general and enjoy the IP that it will never dip below a certain line in terms of demand. However, that is simply demand. Supply is another issue. Supply is completely up to the Pokemon Company. We have no idea how much supply is going to come out. So that's the only way that the market really can downturn right now. Even if we see a huge crash in demand, again, there's still going to be this floor. But the biggest determiner right now, I would say, is probably the supply, because I don't really see the demand going anywhere. The sets seem really good. As I said before, I do think we're going to get a set that's going to be bad, and Pokemon's going to overprint it. People aren't going to like it, and that might kind of crash a bit. And people who like pre-ordered every single set at $300 might lose some money. But again, in the long run, even if you buy the worst set at the the worst era, as long as you hold for the long run, especially if you buy these kind of like more exclusive items like a Pokemon Center ETB, you'll be doing fine. As long as you hold for 10 years, 5 years as well, you'll be doing amazingly. If you look at some Sun and Moon and Sword and Shield booster boxes, you can see, you're still going to be doing absolutely amazing. And if you buy good stuff, if you actually buy good products, you'll be doing even better. So don't lose too much faith in the Pokemon hobby just yet, but do be ready for a crash. I do think it's going to be coming soon. I personally am very excited for it. I want to pick up more Mega booster boxes. I want to pick up Phantasmal Flames booster boxes if possible. Destined Rivals as well. I would love to get another case if I can. I bought it at I think like $1,000 was because I was really lucky with my buy-in price, but man, it has just a runaway with the price. I do think Pokemon sees that. That's why they dropped the Pokemon Center drop. So I anticipate us getting some more reprints, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, Let me know what you guys think about the Pokemon market. Are we going to see a crash soon? I personally am almost hoping for one, but if people are hoping for a crash, that just means nothing's going to happen. Or even if it does, people are going to buy the dip. And again, I mean, that is what I'm telling you guys, that if you see a dip, you should buy because it usually ends up going back up. But in any case, that's going to be the video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.